Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Benefactor at Chaotic Neutral Games. I'm Simon, your DM for tonight, as we join Felicia, Corinne, and Kate with their adventures in Illyria. Don't forget, you can help or indeed hinder. Check out the options in the chat bar below. You can join our wonderful community, as so many others have, by clicking the Discord link in the channel notes, or you can support us in what we do by becoming a subscriber. Now, it's a time of change, also a time of acceleration, as the great battle with the architect draws near. They don't know exactly when he's going to come, but they know they need to be ready. And our sorceress, Glory, has taken drastic steps to make sure that she's ready for the onslaught. By eating the heart of a void dragon, she herself has transformed. And as a result, has found herself in a slight multiplanar pickle.
Oh yeah. Oops.
We don't have Nick today. He's got some family birthdays. Enjoy yourself, my friend. Which is a bit of a pity because he had the planar shift spell. So let's see how it goes as we play episode 135 of the Benefactor. And welcome back. And indeed, welcome to our players. And I can see in chat we have Prime. Welcome, sir. And thank you very much for getting slap happy with the banhammer last night on all those bots. Definitely helped us out. So
damn bots.
Yeah, I didn't even know we had them until all of a sudden it was like, Prime has killed this, Prime has killed that, Prime has killed this.
I had that the other day. He's so on it that I don't even notice that they pop up. They're just popped up and they're gone.
Very good.
Okay. So, when we left off, you guys had killed a void dragon.
Yes.
A lot quicker than I had anticipated.
Yeah.
And I boosted it up, going, no, this is just simply very hard. Let's go for the deadly encounter.
Yeah, because we were talking about having an adult one, and you bumped it up to an ancient.
I bumped it up to an ancient.
I know that because you were mentioning ability, and I'm like, wait, I did not read that. Oh, Simon.
Yeah. I was very sad.
Because we murdered it very hard.
It was fun. We got to do the hyped up tabaxi.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got to crit and then have it vulnerability to my damage, and it was amazing. I did like 100 and something damage in one round. Simon cried.
I did.
140 something, I think.
Yeah, 142, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
It
It is not often you do that amount of damage.
No, and to be fair, that like took Babel's entire turn just giving me...
And that's the thing. I'm not going to complain about that much damage when it takes you to go fucking D&D player Voltron to go and do it. So I'm like, yeah, that's good fun. That's good fun. Hey, Hermit. So.
Good evening.
It did, however, mean that once Glory had eaten the heart of this ancient void dragon,
we took damage.
You
not
did
as
have
much
something.
as you should have.
You ended up being forced into a random plane of existence, which is what we left off with, and because the dice apparently love repetition, you got thrown onto Mechanus.
Yep.
And now are watching lots of little round creatures. Let's see, a mixture of ball-like creatures with a single eye, cuboid creatures with like limbs that unfold, and strange upturned creatures, like an upturned D4 with legs coming out and a 3-point rotational symmetry. Very strange in any life form. Running away from you because you look like a dragon and you just appeared out of nowhere. So none of them having any orders to attack the dragon did what they were allowed to do and run the fuck away. So you can see in front of you this wave of like this huge herd of these Modrons running away. You can hear this kind of belting mechanical voice, voices, this throng of voices, basically calling for orders. Now, Mechanus, as we've said before, is a plane of law and order. Everything has its function. Everything has its place. Nobody ever has any free thought. In this case, these Modrons aren't running away because they're scared. They're running away because they are not the ones assigned to combat you. And as such, they're getting out of the way for the one that is. Suddenly, there's this voice. And the voice echoes all around, but you realize it's echoing in your head. As you hear, "Who dares defile the order of law and perfection? I, a Secundus, demand it of you." And you can feel this pressure building on your head. You can see that in the distance, this the Modrons are parting for what seems to be a medium-sized creature that you can't see. It's about a medium-sized parting. You can't see anything appearing head and shoulders above the others, but something's clearly coming toward you, something powerful, something with a lot of psionic ability. Who comes in as an agent of chaos against the order? And you can see that Modrons are clearly being given their orders because they're forming in perfect grid-like ranks.
I'll have you know, I'm lawful, but also I'm not being paid enough for this shit. And I snap my finger.
You snap your fingers and you feel a very familiar jerking sensation in your stomach as you go, "Yeah, prime material plane, please." And you appear beautifully decked out in your new pristine void dragon form. Only still the large side and medium.
Yeah.
So you know,
not big.
Yeah, you probably got the same. Yeah.
Does a 22 hit?
Yeah.
You take 10 points of damage because I assume it's not a sneak attack.
No, if anything, I snuck up on you out of nowhere.
I'll take it.
Really, Clips? Really?
Oh.
Awen goes,
say,
"In it, glory!" and rolls a bow.
Yeah.
I really can't leave you alone for even a second, can I? And you see her stretch out the wings, and like you can actually like see space moving in them. Like, I presume all of you have seen the artwork on in the artist show up, but I'll post it again. Give me a moment.
And I put the link in for the Secundus. Yeah. The joint second most powerful being on Mechanus.
You were like, bang!
Nope. Bing.
I said nah.
Just to clarify, Glory does not have any major mechanical ability, but there is one small ability she has, and that is she can basically press the home button on a plane shift. So if she gets shifted out, she can blow any one spell slot to bring herself and the party if she needs to, but it's a slightly higher spell slot to bring you back. But literally all she can do is press return. She can't use it proactively. She can only use it to answer something.
But yeah, Glory like stretches out, and then you see the form shrinking again. And in front of you is Glory standing, just like she was before her medium transformation. So she has feet again.
You got shoes!
Of course I do. I love shoes.
So
You
was
keep
this,
what?
Was
You
this
keep
an
changing.
entire was this a ploy for you to be able to wear shoes again?
That is simply a happy coincidence, Eclipse.
I think this was a ploy to get her to be able to wear shoes again.
I mean, it's quite an elaborate ploy, but it is Glory, so given.
I think that's the.
Look at you. You look great.
Of course I do. I always look good.
Sorry. Didn't even bother. You didn't even need to do that.
But
right?
yes, I do look great, don't I? I really like the wings.
They're very interesting. So, was that from you eating the heart of the poor creature we killed?
Well, the heart needed stabilizing, and the only way to do it is to absorb it into something else. And none of you have dragon blood, so it could have just as well killed you if you tried to do it.
I was thinking we were gonna neutralize it with Adam and his like magic nullifying.
Oh no,
body.
then the body would have disappeared as well.
You do see in front of you still the body of the Void Dragon, now kind of milky and pale without the beautiful energy pulsing through it. However, the webbing, the skin, the scales, all there for harvesting.
So, yeah, how's Sun reacting to all of this weird shit? I mean, he was with Jordan, so probably like it's just like on Tuesday.
The bit where Glory came back, he kind of reacts to that the most. The killing of the dragon, he was kind of like, yeah, for the horde kind of thing. But the whole thing with Glory, he kind of looks at you askance and says, "Thankfully, I've seen worse. Well, weirder. Well, different."
Yeah.
Should I be as concerned with you as I was with Karnatala?
I mean, having a healthy dose of concern about Glory is always good.
Noted, chosen one. I call you ally for now.
Of course. We're in this to stop the architect and help Eclipse find Jordan. Now,
and we're gonna
let's get this corpse blade, I suppose is the right word. I don't know. I don't wear armor, so what do you need?
Well, we cut sections big enough that they can make entire pieces of clothing. You need pieces the size of one's chest. In the case of the scales, get as many as we can.
Gonna call some professionals, so I will use my silver badge that I can contact the green organization with from long range, and I'm like, ring to Renata.
You have traveled quite far to this place, so
It's a silver one. It's the long range one.
yeah, I know it's a silver one, so you still will get somebody. And yeah, you'll when you call out, you do hear somebody say, "You're out of range of the Green Mansion, but you managed to catch us. I'm a trader in the Green Organization. I'm on the road. I'm not sure where you are, but I'm on the road going between there's a house Ostermark and house Henlon. How can I help you?
Are you able to contact the Green Mansion from where you are?
Should be able to. How can I
Yes.
help?
Could you tell whoever you contact, one of the people there, to send some I want to say cadaver retrieve? No, rangers?
What you want is skinners and leatherworkers.
Yeah, some skinners and leatherworkers to this location. I'll give the coordinates.
Sure. So longitude and
Yeah,
latitude do exist.
Glory just tells you the exact longitude and the
Latitude, yeah.
latitude and all of that.
Yeah. And he says, "I'll relay the message.
Yeah.
I presume that this is required in some haste."
Yes, please.
Very well.
Might want to tell him that it's Eclipse asking for it.
It's Eclipse asking for it, by the way.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. Very well. I mean, I can trust you insofar as I know the badges won't work for anyone else, but good to know.
Yeah.
I will
Yes.
send things along, Eclipse. I am Darren.
Thank you, Darren.
Very well. Message going through now.
Yeah.
And there's a little pop in your head as he disconnects. About 15 minutes later,
We sit around, play cards.
Yeah.
Play some free dragon ante.
your silver badge starts to glow slightly, and you know that to a certain extent that these badges can be used to locate you at times. And suddenly there's this, dull popping sound as several people appear.
Oh. Hello.
There's a half-elven clerk who says, let's see, let's randomize. Half-elven clerk, they, them, name is Adana. And they step forward and say, Adana, you requested some resource, and Renata saw fit to grant it blindly. And you can see that there's some people from Ostergald here, most of which are part of the Green Organization or the Green Organization's community. Some people have clearly been hired on the spot and are a little kind of rabbit in headlights. They go, I presume that this creature in front of us is the target?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Please.
It's a good thing that we brought some Titan steel blades. Very well. And they open up what seems to be like a doctor's bag, but is clearly a bag of holding, because when they put their hand in, it goes very Mary Poppins. Pulls out these really small, like almost scalpel-like blades. They're a bit longer than a scalpel-like blade. They're about 1.5 inches. Well, actually, no, probably about 3 inches. That. And they hand these out to the various artisans. A dwarf that you have met before. This is Glenda Greyhelm, who steps forward, rolls up her sleeves, and goes, "Come on, you lot. one creature's as good as another. Just to make sure you do a good job. And she kind of tests her tests the blade of her Titan steel blade. And you can see that this Titan steel blade, the actual main part of this scalpel blade is actually just regular steel, and it's just the edge that's Titan steel. Each one maybe has like a tiny sliver of this that's been sharpened. And she says, let's get to work. And they start peeling away the webbing, the scales, and it takes quite some time. This is like them performing surgery on a giant creature, a gargantuan creature.
Yes,
Yep.
I didn't think we'd be able to do it ourselves. I'm like, oh, let's call the cavalry in, and we'll
I
play
will just
cards in the
like
background.
at some
There would have
point
been
tell them
rolls.
that if possible, I would like to skull saved.
Glenda turns around and says, aye, if you want the skull, we can do that. Naff all up there for us anyway.
You got the heart. I'm taking the skull. It's gonna be above my bed in the keep. I did 100 damage to that thing.
I did a lot of damage to that
I
thing.
did a lot of fair damage to that thing.
Very well, Eclipse. But I was gonna suggest we put it above the bar.
Oh yeah, that works. My point is, you're not sending that to cats around.
No, that's not a good idea.
Hey, Grandad, guess what I just did?
I killed a dragon. Oh, was he a cousin of yours? Oopsie.
Hey, Grandad, you know that power level that's between you and me that's been getting smaller and smaller and smaller? I ate an ancient dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your granddad is only an ancient dragon. I think we could take him.
He is an epic.
I think
Yeah.
we can take him. We took
We
this
are
thing
not
in one
killing
round.
my grandfather, Eclipse. How many times do I have to tell you this?
We took this thing in one round.
Yes, but Eclipse, sweetie,
Put it this
in
way,
order
I'm
to
going
even
to make
get
him
to it,
Tarrasque
we would
level
first
dragon.
have to kill off my entire family, a army of guards, and that is not even talking about the fact that you would have on your conscience the thousands, if not millions, of lives that will be lost in the ensuing turf war that comes after the death of a dragon.
Well, someone can.
As a layer action, you get attacked by the entire army, every hero in Atal'Zaran, and also the continent goes to war. It's a hell of a layer action.
Well, maybe
And
we can
if
take
we
him.
somehow manage to kill him, not only will the other dragonfly get into action in order to claim his territory, but the fact is that my grandfather built his territory by terraforming the very ground into giant cliffs so that if he dies, everything will fall to rubble, killing everyone.
So what you're saying is we have to make a much more elaborate plan of evacuating everybody first and luring him to some place remote, and then kill him.
It's a whole campaign.
We are not killing my grandfather. I'm
So-
gonna change things
Yes.
in the
If you want-
political sphere,
Yeah, if you
not
want to do
by
it,
killing.
yes, you've got to do it politically, by which she means Glory's got to go up, eat his heart, maintain the
Oh yeah, you can just eat this heart. Problem solved.
yeah.
That's a little bit
Yeah.
worse than eating a star, I think.
Yeah. And that way she will be able to keep Atal'Zaran as Atal'Zaran, but then she'll have all the same problems that he had.
Yeah.
Anyway. So the artisans get to it, and they start making piles of various things. You've got enough bags of holding and stuff like that amongst you all, especially the plus one bag of holding that you have that the clerk brought along. So between you all, you're able to get back sheets of webbing, scale, skin, claws, everything. I mean, this thing at the end of it is like a the end of a turkey dinner. You know?
Yep.
There's a few things that could potentially be harvested. Dragon bone is still sought after. Dragon blood, although this doesn't really have blood.
Nope.
But at the end of it, it's just, I guess, a monument to the battle. Part of the flesh starts to kind of almost evaporate away, being that it's made of star stuff. And yeah, you have a good amount. I would have got you to roll survival checks, but you brought in the experts.
Yeah.
Yep.
So as much as could be harvested, and you're going to take as much time as you need, has been harvested. At which point, Adana has been on the badge to Renata. You notice that she has. It's not gold. It looks like a silver badge. You're like, how come your silver badge goes? Then you go, nope, that's not silver. That's platinum.
Yeah.
And Adana turns to you as you're looking and says, we should get you one of those. In fact, I think it's pertinent now that you all should have them. There aren't many of these, but I think you should have them. If you accept that, of course. And starts to etch out a teleportation circle going back to Ostergold. And calls all the artisans in and says, will there be anything else that you need? We have dragon's skull, which of course includes the teeth. We have all the scales, the webbing, all of the usable skin, the claws from the feet, and the tail spike. Anything else?
No.
It doesn't have any blood. The flesh has started turning into dust, I see. I suppose
Kind of a
ground up-
glitter that just wafts off into the air.
Yeah. I suppose the bones could be useful for alchemists, but I don't know how long they'll last.
We can offer a trip back and maybe donate the proceeds that they would pay for the dragon bone to the unfortunates of the city.
Sounds like a good plan.
Very well. And with that, Adana waves their hand, and again that familiar lurch, and you've been teleported directly into the Green Mansion. Of course you have. And you can see. I'm going to say that Farewell is here, but we'll get you guys to talk instead. And Adana hands the bag of holding that they're carrying to some of the artisans that came from the Green Organization and says, catalog the lot. We're going to need to figure out how to use it. Clean out the skull, do whatever it is that you normally do, and then send it to the Hawk and Harness. And as they say, I guess they're putting it above the bar. I don't think there's enough space there. You may have to put it outside the building. Either way, I think a good message should be sent out. The heroes of Ostergold have, had another victory, and they intend to have many more.
Slain a dragon.
So,
I will tell someone. I want most of the skin to be made into armor for Eclipse and Cora. Also a set for Aiden, if in case he shows up again. He's a little bit busy with the Blood Hunters, but can never be too careful.
a voice from above, a very familiar voice from above, says, I'm sure there'll be enough for everybody. And above you, you can see the pale skin, the elegant fingers, as Renata Green looks down at you from the kind of mezzanine level of the staircase that's in the main foyer. Everyone, our prime associates have come back with a lot of extra materials which will help us in the fight ahead. I believe that there should be enough there to be able to arm a good vanguard, frontline force for when what has been foreseen happens. I think a walk around the city is necessary. I think we spend too much time in my stuffy study when the real focus of our attentions is outside. Shall we, ladies? Oh,
Yes.
and
Why
farewell.
not?
Come.
And farewell.
She glides down the staircase, showing a lot of poise and etiquette and breeding, very much looking like a noble, although you know she is no noble, she's a scholar.
Mm-hmm.
And when she gets to the bottom of the stairs, you can see, the shock of colorful ginger red hair, the scattering of freckles over both cheeks, almost kind of girlish good looks, but very much this, as you know, very old and very wise woman. Let's go. I expect a full catalogue of that when I get back. And you can see a lot of clerks kind of just jumping into action as they start to find zones where they can pull all this stuff out of the bags of holding. You step out into the street, and you remember when Renata walking around, because she was leader of many factions in this city, would have had to have walked around with a retinue, or at least with a certain number of protective spells on the go, just in case some of the jostling for power in the city made somebody decide that maybe she was better off dead. Granted, she's walking around with some very well-known heroes, known for surviving in some of the worst situations possible, and saviors of the city to boot. But she walks around now with not a regal air, but kind of a quiet and humbly confident knowledge that the city knows that she's there for them.
Mm-hmm.
She gives thin, mirthless, but otherwise somehow genuine smiles to the various people of the city as she passes. She looks up every now and again at a guard station or a section of wall where strange mechanical devices are being installed at any point that can take them. The walls have got strange spikes overhanging them, so that something that was trying to climb the wall would just end up coming up against a spiked barricade. Not only that, but you can see that a lot of the guards that you pass and the guards on the wall, instead of carrying the usual long arm of the law, a big old stick to hit people who have committed crimes, instead you can see that they have good armor, good quality armor. And some of them have got either heavy or repeating crossbows to take down flying units, or to be able to pierce the skull of some sort of armored creature. Ostergald now is a city with a single purpose. In the fullness of time, they'll go back to thinking on the micro scale of thieves and thugs, and machinations, and all the other little intrigues that normally make a city tick. But right now, this is a city that is becoming a fortress.
Mm.
And yet, as you know, it's an inside-out fortress. All of the walls now are caring about what will be within, rather than without. People have started to reinforce their homes in very interesting and decorative ways. It appears that the character of Ostergald has not been quashed. People now seem to have designer steel doors, the way that the bars crisscross over in ornamental iron. Also, you can see that there are people who have put what would normally be intruder spikes for a thief, but now they're just that little bit more excessive, and a kind of Ostergald style is coming out. This is a city that doesn't sleep, an industrial city, a city that produces all night long. It's busy at night and even busier during the day. There are 2 large ships in the dock at all times now. These are effectively floating barracks places that can be moved around, retreated back at will, to be able to send troops in and out of the city. A little further into the bay, just out maybe a nautical mile, there's an even larger ship, a long ship, what's known as a brigantine. It's a floating hospital. On there 24/7, there are clerics and wizards capable of teleporting people on and off of this ship to be able to bring back wounded troops, to save lives, and to be able to weather the onslaught. Something is true of the Ostermarks. They are warmongers. Normally a dirty word, but a necessary thing in the Vardencore lands. Typically, being a warmonger means being the type of person you don't want to slight or manipulate or try to oppress. It's defensive. But to be defensive, you have to make a few examples of people first. In this case now, a different and more noble type of warmonger has come out. Somebody for whom defeat is not an option. And that spirit has been picked up by the city. You notice there's a lot more pride of being an Ostermark. Being able to call upon years and years of heavy military training, knowing how many veterans there are throughout the city and the local villages. In fact, there are people who have moved out to the villages, normally those with forms of disability that mean that they can't fight. Other people, however, with an arm missing or a leg missing or an eye missing, are still training and staying in Ostermark. Old, grizzled veterans are setting down their tankards and picking up old weapons that they've had to sharpen for the first time in a decade. Others are learning to get their eye back as they start shooting on the archery butts. This is a city preparing increasingly for war. And they're all looking at you. Everything you've done, all the tales of the acts that you've performed, have started to be broadcast throughout the city. You have a feeling that Renata and Noki and the Duke himself may have put this forward to say that you yourself are leading the training by going out there and righting various wrongs. And so you're ready. That's the general message out into the city. Keep going. We're on track. We're on target. We're on schedule. Renata takes you up onto the barricade wall. The perimeter wall of the city has always been one of a last stand. And now, in this case, it seems to be a first stand. A barrier between where the architect and his minions will appear and the rest of the world. Duke Edmund clearly doesn't want to win this simply for a history. This is the history, the ultimate history. The day that Duke Edmund Ostermark will effectively save the whole of Illyria. Renata leans on the crenellations and says, well, it's as I see it. It's as I see it in so many future histories. Tell me, how prepared are you?
Well, Yuri just ate the void dragon heart, so she's good.
I'm as prepared as I can be. At least the act procured us enough to make sure everyone else can be safe from the architect's influence as well, or as safe as they can be.
Well, the only thing I'm worried about is myself, because I am not half Fae, I can't control time, and I'm not like dragon hearted up.
Why we got you that got leather so you can have a new armor. It will help.
The
Yes.
armor should confuse the architect, make it more difficult for him to see you as matter. It's not going to be perfect.
Of course not.
Oh, I'm hoping that the Heart of Jordan's gonna help.
Well, I foresaw you being part of this for a reason, Eclipse. I'm still not sure which reason it's going to be, but well, we'll see.
Indeed.
How
There's
far are
only
you?
one jar left, and we already know where it is. So
You answer
It's
my
in the
question.
Rosali.
And I've already
Yes.
given you a letter to get into the Rosali.
yes,
Yeah.
the dragon had to take precedent because it only showed up on the full moon, so
Very
a
well.
little bit time sensitive, but we'll be back on track now.
She sits down between two of the crenellations, gestures, and a small hip flask appears in her hand. She takes a pull on it and turns to Cora. And what have you?
Well, I feel I've gained some. I feel I'm learning more and more as time goes on. And I don't know, changing like we all are a bit. But
Except your choice, your change is by choice.
so is Glory's, I feel.
For Glory, I think most of what she does, she feels is inevitable. Whereas with you, what happened to you wasn't by choice. And now you do have a choice to either lean into it and take your place in eternity, or to step back and be a little more like your family.
But to protect my family, we have to destroy this architect.
True enough.
Otherwise, there's nothing left to go back to.
True words.
I think we all have a path.
But ultimately, with your decision, this is not going to be something that you make consciously. Do you know what the term self-actualization means?
Why don't you explain it?
You'll become not what you decide to be, though it is a decision. You'll become what you feel yourself to be. Part of this will be within your power to influence, choosing when to let go, when to hold back, when to show restraint, when to jump in and lean in. But ultimately, those decisions will end up connecting you, I guess. You'll end up feeling a particular way. Either you'll start seeing your fey nature as something unnatural and uncora, or it will start to define you. I'm afraid there's only two ways that this can go. A mortal has no place other than in the dreaming to enter the Feywild. Adventurers find themselves there from time to time, but they find that they cannot stay there for very long without their minds being bent and broken. Unless, of course, they go there in dreams. But even then, they're not really there. They become part of the background, part of the scenery. For you, leaning in means change. It means being part of that place, being part of that culture, and letting part of yourself go that you'll never reclaim. But it does also mean an eternity with one you love, for whatever equal blessing or curse that could be.
Forever is a long time, but as you say, that isn't necessarily a bad thing.
I can't tell you much about the future that I wish to enact, but I can tell you that in the future that I would like to see the chorus take a moment of acceptance, I guess. You let go. Let go of what? I don't know. But you let go. And something happens.
I don't know what my choice will be. I know I need to make one. I've already lost my family once. My father twice. My family I regained, but it's not the same. Not completely. And I'll have to lose them again no matter what choice I make.
I would say that if there's something I've learned, your family think of your family as an experience, one that has a beginning and an end. The beginning exists long before you, when you're a concept, and it ends normally before you end. As long as that experience has been worthwhile, then its length is to a certain extent immaterial. If you're happy with the experiences you've had with them, then you can let go. Either way. And I dare say that if you do become Fae, they'd be able to visit, but it won't be the same because you won't be the same. I think that in the same way that Eclipse needs to be on the path to find herself worthy of the heart, that your path needs to be of self-realization. The question is, what do you need to do? Who do you need to see? What do you need to experience to make that decision?
That is a good question. There might be one person that would be interesting to meet.
Then I suggest you set up an appointment.
I don't know how to set up an appointment, but I'm sure I can figure it out. I'm just not sure the father-in-law will approve.
I have a feeling he's going to be more forgiving of you than you give him credit for.
Let's hope so.
You're a new hope for him.
Well, we'll see after the meeting.
Either way, the Feywild is based on stories. And right now, you can write your own. She looks Glory up and down, smiles, and gives like a kind of almost respectful nod, like a nod between colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that your great work, your great opus, is underway. And she turns to Eclipse, pats her on the shoulder, and says, "Good hunting."
Thanks.
and suddenly she's just not there. It's not that she teleports; she's just not there anymore. You do all notice. I'm not going to give you an insight check. You do all notice that she's talking different to usual. With a little bit, she's maybe a little more morose. What would you like to do?
We need to take this. Need to take the dragon head over to the place.
Oh, it's
Carpet.
already been prepped for it.
Yeah, they're preparing.
Yeah. Well, I need to take Adam back. I need to walk Adam back.
That you need to do.
Yeah. And he'll lumber along behind you. Never thought I'd end up fighting a dragon.
Well, new experiences, eh?
I hope you enjoyed that as much as that automaton can enjoy something.
On the automaton?
Oh, not automaton. Golem. Yeah, as much as a golem can.
Yeah, I'm real, or as real as anything can be.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, it was an interesting experience. Mind you, though,
Wasn't it just?
for me, being stuck in an underground chamber for thousands of years, an interesting experience is a very low bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was that? Like, do you get bored? Did you notice the time going
Do
by?
you get bored?
After a while, I think what you call bored, I call normal. I think bored is very much a comparative thing.
I mean, I guess if you're just sitting there day after day after day, you probably actually don't remember very much of the thousands of years because every day is the same. So
no, you notice the little things. You mark down things like when a particularly interesting spider crawls past your path.
yeah,
Or when a piece of dust that you've been watching on a ledge for a very long time eventually falls off. But for your normal and that being boring, you can imagine how excited I am right now. It's a non-stop thrill ride.
I can see it on your face. You know?
I do think I'm quite expressive, yes.
Yeah. For like, I haven't met many golems, but you definitely.
For having no
I
eyebrows.
haven't met many anythings, and since being here, I've met so many people. I feel popular.
You are people. You are unique, and uniqueness is inspiring to people. People love it.
I feel very worthwhile.
You know what we should do?
What's that?
Take you to a bebop concert.
Bebop Badoo.
Bebop. What's his name again?
Bebop Badoo.
Bebop. We should take you to a concert. That would be an experience.
It would be.
I don't know what a bebop or a badoom is.
Sure, it's music. I don't think you've.
It's a guy.
It's like that guy playing the lute over there,
himself.
but better. I mean, sorry, you're good and all, but he's better. He's just better. It's music.
I look forward to the experience, and I am beside myself with excitement.
I can tell. I know. I can tell.
You would have thought with, my face being a single structure that, I wouldn't be as expressive as I am. But I'm glad that I'm able to be so expressive to you.
Yes. We'll draw eyebrows on you and it will be amazing.
Yeah, give him eyebrows. Oh,
a minor illusion, some eyebrows on him that go up and down. So expressive like.
Sharpie.
I feel very fashionable right now.
You are. You're great.
Very well. Let's tell Noki about the incoming dragon head, shall we?
Oh, we should definitely warn him of that. Otherwise, yes. I mean, luckily it's just a skull. They've taken they're cleaning it up, but still, he also needs to find. I mean, it's big, so
It needs to find
We
space.
need, I mean, find space and a big, like, hefty
Maybe make
stand.
space.
Yeah, okay, right.
Yeah, the head is big enough to be mounted above the door.
Yeah,
Mm.
we're gonna wander to the Hawk and Harness and go see those guys.
Yeah,
Yep.
take a slow walk through the streets.
Yeah, a 1/3 speed walk. Yeah,
Yeah.
to the Hawk and Harness.
Yeah,
And eventually-
I will also be
Because
talking.
we're keeping speed with Adam.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I assume
Mhm.
Sun is with us, Simon.
Actually, how did you get Adam there in the first place?
I managed to
Teleported.
drag him with us.
You teleported.
Yeah,
I
no,
had
she,
to roll for
Eclipse
it.
had a thing on her forehead, a rune.
That was wild magic.
That was
Right, but
wild.
we
Wild
don't know what
magic,
it.
that did-
But is it still there?
Yep, still there.
What? But Eclipse?
But yeah,
what
I
exactly?
had to
What exactly
roll
is
with
that?
my magic circle to see if we managed to pull him with us.
Yeah.
That's how we got Adam. We teleported him.
Do we need to do the same to get him back? Well, we've
In
just
that
had that
case-
conversation,
In that
but
case,
still.
I'll retcon in. It took several teleport attempts to get Adam back.
Yeah. That's fine. It's decimal slots. We can do it.
Scorn, give me a D6 and a D100.
Oh, do we prompt
I
him?
already have wild magic. Do we need another one? Fucking.
Yeah, because Cora's gonna totally press that button on your forehead soon enough.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. a
Okay.
4 and a 40.
40.
Ooh.
What on Simon's custom wild magic tables will we have today?
I don't like that you don't say what happened, because then if it's something we don't know, I'm never gonna activate it in case it just blows up.
Oh, you don't get to activate it.
You said I could activate it.
Oh, yeah, I said you could activate it, but you don't have to activate it.
Yeah, you don't
it
know
may trigger on its own.
necessarily how it's going to. You don't know. That's the whole point. You don't know what it is. That's kind of the point of wild magic. To
Well,
not.
when you roll wild magic, you get to see what happens.
No.
Yeah, but you. Yeah, but you
When it goes
don't
off, you do.
really. In reality, you don't know. You don't get a table in real life. Like we don't know.
Ooh. I like this one. Okay, fine. Thank you, Scorn, and I've just been inspired as to what it's going to be.
Oh.
So, you eventually get back to the Hawk and Harness, and Adam steps forward and goes, "Is your name on the list?" To just some random person going into the tavern. He goes, "List? I didn't know there was a list." He goes, "Is there a list?" The
No.
hunter goes, "I don't think so." "We can go in then. What are you waiting around for?"
He's good. He's got the knack already.
Yeah.
I like it. Keep going. Keep
By the way,
doing
Simon,
you.
I don't know if you heard, but I assume Sun is with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, son is with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can talk to him.
Yeah.
He's mostly taking all this in
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
at this point. He's still a bit discombobulated, being that he's only just returned to the world. And so he's become a little bit of a, puppy trailing behind you, trying to learn as fast as he can.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's easy on the eyes. There's worse
how
people
to
you could
be
have
a
walking around
modern
behind you.
man.
Yeah, you've got this beautiful ripped tabaxi just kind of walking around. And he does smile at Adam's kind of youth or unworldliness. And
Well,
when you go into the
I for
bar,
one
he does
think
step
Adam
forward
fits
and
in
order a drink.
perfectly in Ostergald.
Yeah, so Sun does actually go in and order a drink. And says, "So, Renata was saying about a next step, and serving the drink is Noki." And Noki goes, "Oh yes, how did your little outing go? Where did you go?"
Meridia.
"Oh, Meridia. Ah, lovely place. I holidayed there myself." And he starts pouring your usual drinks.
Yeah, we killed a dragon.
A dragon? Was it threatening anybody?
No, and I'm starting to be suspicious.
Don't worry about it.
What do you mean you're starting?
No.
I was suspicious from the start.
Yes, I was suspicious from the start. And Glory, the dragon, was it actually bothering anyone?
Scaring the townsfolk nearby every full moon, but nothing worse than that.
You recall, I'm gonna keep Glory's comment as said, but you guys don't recall seeing a town.
We saw a scared gnome, or some of
A
us.
single scared forest gnome.
One single forest gnome.
Glory
Don't
might have
worry about
information you
Which
don't.
town? Exactly, Glory.
There were probably one.
Glory.
I mean, they had to have found the information somewhere.
Glory.
Yes.
Did you trick us into killing an innocent creature?
We weren't tricked. We absolutely killed an innocent creature for its armor.
Right. Glory,
Yeah.
time out. Go to your room. And think about what you've done.
Uh-huh.
Eowyn leans against Cora's head and goes, I think she's been thinking about this right up to the point where she did it. It's called premeditation, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't worry, Eclipse will get over it once she realizes how good the armor is. But yeah, we were bad people today.
Okay, Eclipse. I will go to my room in order for you to have a peace of mind. And Glory will actually go up to her room, and then she will immediately teleport away.
Oh, and Clip says, before you go, I will be checking on you. If you teleport away, I will find you, and then I will find those anti-magic cuffs, put them on you, and tie you in there.
Good luck.
Sure. Just out of curiosity, who do you teleport to, or where do you teleport to?
Emanuela, of course.
Okay.
I'm back in town.
Okay.
And
so
I
yes.
got legs again.
Yeah. I've got legs again. I'm off to see my girlfriend. Hang on. Yeah.
I'm gonna go and request anti-magic cuffs, and I'm gonna find Glory.
Good luck. She's teleported. How you meant to know where she's gone? She could be anywhere.
Oh, I have guesses. And my first place I would check is either her enchanting place or the Thieves Guild.
Yeah, you go
For
to...
all you know, Eclipse, Glory could have gone to Atalsaran to tell her aunt that, hey, I killed a void dragon.
Yeah, but I'm gonna check these two places first. Those
Okay.
are two obvious
So you go to her room. She's not at her room. You go to the Thieves Guild, and the very hefty guard at the front of the Thieves Guild goes, "Nah, she didn't come this way."
Can I please check?
Check where?
I want to ask Emanuela if she's there.
You don't have an appointment.
So?
You need an appointment.
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes, you do.
I sneak into the Thieves Guild.
This is the Thieves Guild, I'll point out.
Yes.
Okay, sure. Give me an Arcana check with disadvantage.
I'm gonna sneak it. I wasn't gonna do an Arcana check.
You already passed the sneak check because we know there's no point in you even rolling it. Give me an Arcana check with disadvantage.
11.
11. Sure. By the time you reach Emmanuel's quarters, a maid who absolutely is a drow maid and not at all an assassin in Emmanuel's employee to stop other assassins from killing her, says, no, she's not here. Neither her or your friend. I'm sorry, a bit of a wasted trip.
Well, because now I'm by the chamber, I'm gonna use detect thoughts.
No thoughts inside the chamber.
And the thoughts of the can I tell that this lady here is lying through her teeth?
She's absolutely lying through her teeth. In fact, her uppermost thought, which is what the first stage of detect thoughts does, is, oh, here we go. Here's a blatant lie.
You're lying.
I am
She's here.
lying.
She's here.
No, that part I'm not lying about. She's not here.
And and her.
You do realize trespassing into the guild just to do whatever you want is something that the Thieves Guild will have to charge you for.
Well, I also need to find Glory because she did what she wasn't supposed to do.
Thieves Guild.
Glory.
Guild of Thieves.
Glory.
So you're saying that you've come to the Guild of Thieves because someone did something naughty.
Well, she it's not because she's done something naughty, it's that she needs to some time to digest what happened. It's for her own good. Instead, she ran away.
Digesting, all right.
So she just needs to spend an hour, that's all I'm asking for, an hour in her room.
This is very fascinating. None of us care.
Yeah.
In fact, I make a concerted effort to care less than anyone else you would have met on the way here.
It's very nice. I still need to find Glory.
She's not here. Flip side of this, Glory, you and Emmanuel are just about to get jiggy with it when one of her many, many wards gets triggered. At which point she goes, hang on. Listens into the middle distance and says, the cat's coming? At which point she goes, what's with that?
Oh, don't worry about it. She wanted me to play good for a little bit, and I said, nah.
She grabs you by the collar, puts her nose next to yours, and in a purring voice goes, well, I want you to be bad. Picks up a wand, touches it to your head, and you both teleport off to the jungles of Garandal, where you end up spending the next 3 hours banging each other senseless up a tree.
Sounds good to me.
Put it this way, if there were any Ewoks, they would be crying at the end of it. The jungles of Garandal mostly have small villages up in the canopy because it's full of huge creatures. It's my tip of the hat to Monster Hunter. So yes, she teleports you across the realm so you can have uninterrupted sex.
Yeah.
We like Emmanuel.
Eclipse,
We do.
failing to find Glory.
So
We'll go back to working on it.
So yeah, when you met the drow was like, no, I definitely know she's not here. Except she didn't put at the end because they fucking teleported away.
Mm-hmm.
Did I read that off the surface thoughts? Because I see that's
No, the surface thoughts were, no, that's a blatant lie.
yeah. Yes.
Hey, Gorilla.
Okay. Yes. So I Eclipse realizing that she is gone somewhere else. She was here,
Yeah.
but she's no longer here.
Sorry, this
She
is
will-
level 15 shenanigans at this point.
I will go back to Hork and Harness and wait there impatiently for when Glory comes back to magic cuff her and tie her to a bed non-sexually.
You've been a bad girl.
I mean,
We're
after
gonna
3
put
hours
cuffs on
banging
you,
in
and
a
I'm
tree,
gonna cuff
she's
you to
going
your
to be
bed.
she's going to be
Wait,
tired
boring,
enough
it's
to
not
go to
again.
sleep. Like she won't care.
Yeah.
She'll just be like, yeah, cool.
Yeah. I'm going to put these handcuffs on you. You appear to have welts on your wrists already. So yeah, when Eclipse comes back, because all this stuff goes on, when Eclipse comes back, Cora, you can see that Eclipse is doing this thing where her tail just darts. Yeah?
Yeah. The irritated tail, like.
Sun
she
turns
left,
around
didn't
to-
she?
Yeah, Sun turns around to you and he goes, for Tabaxi, that means that she's irritated or angry.
Yeah. I know.
I just realized you've probably spent a lot of time around there.
A decent amount of time with her, and yep. Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
But
okay,
but
okay.
thanks. I appreciate it. Any extra tips are always helpful. But yeah, I've seen her do that before. She's yeah. I'm guessing. I'm gonna guess that Glory left.
You have a very strange relationship with each other.
Yes, we do. Welcome. Welcome to the group.
In fact, I think you are the very strangest family I've ever seen.
Yeah, but we are a family, so.
And I just realized I'm actually speaking as Noki and not as fucking son.
But you do that disguise so well.
Sorry, son says, yes, you are a very strange family.
I cannot
Well done,
deny
Gorilla,
it.
you can stay. Yeah. That's why we don't have many viewers, is that so many people fail that test.
Better bondage.
You're the one who put the idea in their head.
Yes, I said non-sexually.
Oh, please. We know our audience.
I'm going to get some anti-arcane handcuffs and handcuff you to the bed. Ooh, go her. Anyway, so a few hours later, a absent-minded Glory comes down, having thought about what she's done.
Repeatedly, over and over in her own bed while handcuffed. I mean, she's even more satisfied, to be fair.
There's not at all nail marks on her back. No.
Because dragon scales, it's harder. She has a higher AC. And I presume that the second you come down, you get marched back upstairs by Eclipse.
Yeah.
Let me guess, you didn't find me earlier.
I got very close.
Uh-huh. Sure you did. Anyways, it's time for a nap.
It's just handcuffs. Okay. Food happens, and yeah, you get to speak to, eventually, you get to speak to Noki after the shenanigans to say that a giant fucking dragon's head, dragon's skull, is going to be brought to the tavern to be placed somewhere. And he goes, oh yeah, no problem. I'll just put it over there on table number fucking 7. How big is this thing?
Pretty big. We thought it could be a pride of praise display
The size
thing.
of a halfling, the size of a dwarf, the size of a cart.
What size is it?
I can't
It's
remember.
the size of a fucking cart. Yeah.
Yeah, a cart. That one.
Cart?
Mm-hmm.
Find a bit of wall outside the building.
Above the door, maybe?
Wow, well, what about the top drawer above the door and the bottom drawer? You have to step over it and walk through the door.
No.
Okay, maybe not. That face says no. Okay. I'm just saying it could have, yeah. Maybe.
What color was the dragon?
Void.
Yeah.
None of them?
Void?
Star?
All of them? Space?
So I need to put some 2 balls of void fire in the eye sockets.
That would be cool.
Ooh,
Definitely
Would
do
be
that.
really cool, but you don't need to.
I'll go pay the Major Domestica. Okay, fine. Fucking void colored. It
But
couldn't just be.
you know, like
hey, Lucky, we
glassy
killed a red dragon.
No,
Make some
no.
red fire.
No, it's just kind of just
like
black,
space.
yeah, black and starry kind of
Yeah,
would
Black
look
fire
good.
with sparkles.
Yes,
sure.
that. You'll get more customers. It's a good thing, okay? Whatever you're saying.
It just goes off swearing at himself in oh god, Kalashkar.
Kalashtar, yeah.
He just goes off mumbling to himself, just leaving Maggie at the bar, just cleaning at the tankards, going, "You really don't pay him enough, you know."
Well, we don't pay him. Renata does.
My point exactly.
Huh.
Yeah, Renata pays him to deal with us.
Well, we brought a gift. Why is he so angry?
Well, we didn't have to put it here.
Because he probably
but
has to
you
clean
wanted
it or
to
get
be
it cleaned every time, you know.
Yes, it's kind of extra work is what you've given him. You haven't really given him a gift at all, have you?
We've given him the gift of a thing to look at that draws people in. Maybe.
Because she pauses with the tankard that she's currently doing, and she goes, "Next time, maybe you can bring him a nice book, or maybe some sort of drink that he can drink himself. You know, give the barman a drink."
Meatballs.
Meatballs.
He did like the meatballs. I'll give you that.
Okay, we'll
She
have to.
spits into the tankard and then goes, "Ah, shit." Something that Maggie does on a regular basis is forgets that she's not in a dwarf bar anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't spit into the tankards to clean them, and just and goes and puts it back in the sink.
Yeah. You know that this new theory, the sound germ theory, that's conquering the miasma theory, don't spit in things.
So you get what you need.
Well,
Yeah,
we
we'll
got
be out
material.
by morning, I believe.
Well, no, because we still need the armor made, don't we?
Well, the armor can be made while we're off to deal with the Rasali. It's
I'm
gonna
sure-
take.
Might as well.
I'm
wait
sure that
for-
Ms. Green is going to get every artisan in the city to start putting that thing together.
Yeah, I think
True.
it's probably better to just wait for it to be done, and then we can go and be slightly more armored.
Okay. Well, if you insist. When Noki comes back, I can get him to Noki. I keep saying Noki. Noki. Noki is a food. Noki is the guy. And Noki, she says, when Noki comes back, I'll ask him to send the message that you want your armor prioritized. And she starts rasping at the stubble. She hasn't got kind of like face stubble, but there's like a kind of mutton chop stubble that she's got. Not all dwarven women have it, but Maggie certainly has. She is getting on in years as well. She's not quite 200 yet. And she's there kind of rasping at it and saying, I remember when you arrived. I must admit, I didn't know whether or not you were going to shape up to be, well, anything like this. Anyway, I was told that you've got another mission coming up. And, well, that guy over there, and there's just an elven guy, he's just an elven clerk. Apparently, he's going to be able to get you sorted out with any outfitters in the city. May want to go have a word with him.
Right.
Anyway, I'll get some food on the go, and yeah, go have a word with him. Set yourselves up, and then I guess decent night's sleep before you head out again. Yeah.
Yeah.
You go up to the guy, and sat there indeed. Currently checking through a ledger, is in green organization robes. An elven, maybe wizard. It's a bit hard to tell with general kind of scholarly and clerical people. They all wear robes of some kind. And he looks up and says, I didn't want to disturb you. Part of the organization. My name's Ellen.
Hello, Ellen.
I believe that you're going out on another mission so soon. We've barely been able to process the spoils of your last.
Well, I thought we should wait for the processing of the spoils of the last one.
As you wish. Oh,
Eclipse
I was told
wishes
to bring
for
these
the-
along, and he opens up a bag, and in front of you are pristine versions of the badge that Eclipse has.
Ooh.
Huh.
Give.
Sometimes you may be asked to give these back, but considering at the moment you seem to be our furthest ranging operatives, Ms. Green believed it was prudent for you to have them. It does mean that you will be very heavily traced.
That's nothing new.
Yeah.
Very well. If you're willing to, take the badges and please give me your old ones.
Yep.
Swap.
Okay. Well, whilst we're waiting for your armor to be expedited, will there be anything else you will need on the way to the Rosali? The Rosali, I presume you've already been briefed, are a somewhat cantankerous lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how you want to approach this mission, and it's not really my place to tell you, but I can tell you that pretty much whatever you need from the city will provide, within reason, of course.
Well, we do we actually know, Simon, like our group, do we know much about the Rosali other than evil wizards?
You've done the role before. Rosali means shattered soul. They are a tribe of Jaspera.
Yeah.
They're about the only tribe that goes out of Jaspera, being that they are a kind of cult. They don't answer to any of the royal universities of magic. They are tolerated as being the de facto magical university of the Jasperan tribes, although it is recognized that they are only one of those said tribes, and they have been known to deal in the dodgier side of magic. Normally, any kind of wrist slapping or prevention of them going too far and doing things that are too bad are through politics. Normally, they are granted certain things, like in Vardencourt, they have been granted this small village-like tract of land to be to raise their kind of tower, their Rosali Tower, to have a remote research place. But that's on the understanding that that can be taken away in a heartbeat if they fuck around with Vardencourt. And when I say taken away, like the Vardencourt army turning up and slaughtering each one of them to a man and then taking back the land. When the Empress turns around and says, you will be punished, they really mean it. So that's how it currently is. It's very much a kind of, we have nuclear weapons, you have nuclear weapons, let's agree not to use nuclear weapons style of politics between the Rosali and their host nations. Some nations refuse point blank to have the Rosali there. The hinterlands, for example, completely refuse to have them present in any form. They can travel through, but that's about it. If they reside for too long, they will be moved on. In Meridia, they're allowed to go to the universities and study there if they want to abide by the rules of the universities. Some Rosali do it sometimes, but for the most part, they don't like that restriction, so they don't. There are other countries like Sylvania and Khantum, where they have a larger presence. So you do know a bit about them, being that you've all become a bit worldly. That's based on your some of your backgrounds. So in this case, well-traveled from Eclipse, and also magical culture from Felicia, and also well-traveled from Farewell. So what is it that you think you might need? I hear they're incredibly vain, very egotistical, and normally like to humiliate or test.
Yeah. I don't know, Eclipse. This is part of your thing, so how we choose to approach them is entirely up to you. I'm pretty sure that with Renata's letter and my own presence, I can get us in to talk with them. If you want to try and do it peacefully. But considering they are the type of mages that not even my family wants to deal with, you know.
Yeah. Part of me thinks that I could just go in and steal the jar. But
I mean, you could potentially try and steal it while I'm in talks with them. A distraction of sorts.
yeah, because these are not good people.
No. Most certainly not.
One has said that one might say that they are consumed with their own hubris. Maybe some way, some stratagem to be able to get them to set the jar on the line. Well, it sounds like your plan is still. Well, the ink hasn't dried on it yet.
No.
I'll be here if you do need anything. I'm connected to the various guilds and artisans throughout the city. Whatever you need, we will put together.
Perhaps we could set up a trade, magical artifact for a magical artifact.
Entirely possible. Question is, what are we willing to give the Rosali? What are we willing to endanger? And, well, depending on how much they know about the
item in question.
About the jar,
yeah,
they may ask for
more.
Something quite profound and something that, even with our influence, the city is not willing to part with.
What are you thinking? I can see that brain taking eclipse.
If you wish, you can go to the Green Mansion and find out more about the area. I believe they have a number of maps and intel.
Yes. I think. Because I also. There's gonna be. Oh, son.
Yes, can I help you?
So the one thing we have left, the one person we have left for the Kenobi jar is and they wasn't applied greed. Who was given greed?
Greed. That would be Ollivandus.
Ollivandus.
Ollivandus was he was a collector of artifacts. You would say he's probably if there was a museum in the Golden City, he was the curator. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
The one who would run it and catalog it and decide what's to be done with it all. He had great knowledge of the things that we would get. He had a natural ability, just by holding an item, to know what it was, what it did, to be able to divine its creation, its purpose, its in some cases its weaknesses as well. He was on the progression, on the conquest. He was the one who was driving most to step ahead, step ahead, step ahead. He was one of the ones that we didn't realize. Go ahead.
I thought only Sloth was the only non-tabaxi general.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, okay, so Ollivandus is a tabaxi?
Yes, he spent a lot of time around wizards and that lot. He changed his name to be made more acceptable in those circumstances. I believe it's called writers use it, a nom de plume.
Nom de
Yes.
plume. I currently does not know what nom de plume
A
exactly.
nom de
means.
plume is basically when a writer uses a different name.
Oh, okay.
So when J.K. Rowling became, was it Galbraith, to write some books because she didn't want for people to compare it to her other works, and she became Robert Galbraith, that was what we call a nom de plume.
Okay.
And it happened a lot in medieval times, that especially if somebody wanted to venture an opinion that might get them killed, they just became someone else.
Okay, so Ollivanders, who is okay. Oh, by the way, I completely forgot. Here, talk to this book.
You don't have to.
Hello. Does she not have the book?
Pretty sure Gloria had it, because I was in conversations with it regarding its creations.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
When we were in the
I
city.
mean, you can arrange amongst you for Sun to be reunited with the book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I will ask that I will get the book, because I assume we keep it on like a bookshelf somewhere where it's easily accessible, because Gloria,
You
Eclipse is
probably
not
know
gonna-
where it is as an asset. You
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
know where it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you introduce Sun to the book, he goes, "Sure. Hello," and the book says, "Hello, old friend. You're looking well." No, and they end up having this huge conversation where he's reunited with the thoughts, or the recorded thoughts, of his old friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something.
After the conversation, he comes back and says, "Well, yeah, sorry, you're asking about Olive. That was very surreal. You're asking about Ollivanders."
Yes. Because yeah, sorry about the
So yes, Ollivanders was born Whisper. Whisper told in mirth, but he wanted to be called Ollivanders. Not entirely sure why. It's just that's how he wrote all his papers and things. Maybe it was because people could support or refute it without any influence of the fact that he was part of a conquering party. I don't know. He just liked doing it, and we acceded to it. But yes, he had a and he says something in Tabaxi. Give me Corinne, give me a history check with advantage.
history advantage. 18.
You just about translate it to spell scar, maybe. He had one of those. He could interact with any item that had been enchanted, and actually things that weren't enchanted as well, and he would just know how they were built and what their purpose was. He could tell you information about it all. Made him very remarkable. Apparently both he and his brother had it. But the brother stayed back in Europe. But yes, he had this this wonderful innate ability to be able to do that, and he would drive for conquering, collecting, making sure that some of the more dangerous magical items of the mainland would never see the light of day in the hands of the Nerukan enemies, or enemies of Neruka. And
do you think he would have taken any of those artifacts with him?
Plausible. But we left
Because
the Golden City very quickly. So I doubt he would have been able to take many.
If he had any of those with him, then they would have fallen into the hands of the Rosali, possibly. In case they've even uncovered it, the tomb.
Entirely possible. I mean, if the Rosali, these Rosali people that you talk about, have his jar, that kind of suggests that they have already defeated whatever chamber he created. But the interesting thing about him is that when we got to the Golden City, he didn't want to go looking for more artifacts anymore. He was absorbed with some project of his own. We just thought that he had finally got enough toys to play with that he realized that he had too much work and not enough time. So he didn't really pay attention much to it. But he did claim that he was as guilty as the rest of us, I suppose. So he must have been doing something wrong for him to have taken the penance like the rest.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, thank you, son. That gives us some context. We're probably looking at some. Thinking the result is probably there because one of these artifacts would make sense.
Yes, that they would set up there because they knew or had a lead on a artifact. The question is if they've broken into it yet, or if they are still stumped by whatever he left behind.
Yeah.
Could we offer to help them? And either not or leave them something that doesn't really matter to us but might seem good to them?
It's a possibility. If it is that they haven't figured it out yet. Then again, these trials were supposed to be completed by someone on the path, so depending on how skilled he was, he might have figured out a way to lock it so only Eclipse can get in.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, as I say, says the elf that apparently is still sticking around. If you want to know more, well, you have the university, you have the Green Mansion.
Yeah,
We might as well
All
go
places
research.
we
where
do
you'll be
have
able to
some time.
Get hold of at least a lay of the land.
Yeah, we
Yes.
should at least do that. Some maps, figuring out a bit more about these people. Anything that would help us when we get there.
I'll take
if we get there.
I can talk with my contacts at the university. Farewell has a few as well, so we can go over there while you two go and check what the Green organization have on them. Has to be something like that someone has figured out, because if they are in Vadencourt, then someone is keeping an eye on them. There is almost, well, practically no civilization in our world that wouldn't keep an eye on what they're doing.
And as you guys head off for your various informations, we're going to take a 10-minute break, get ourselves a drink and stuff. I know that I'm going to have a bit of a dry throat. So when we come back, it's time to do a little bit of homework before you start drawing up your next teleportation circle to go to the Rosali village. We'll see you in 10 minutes. we are back. When we left off, we were urging our tired players, it's been a long week, to get to the next plot, unless they had anything else they wanted to do. And the next plot point is the Rosali Tower. So, you've been told that there are a few places that have already been sourced as places that might have information on this. The university, so the University of Ostergold, which is the approved arcane university in this region, or you have the Green Mansion that you've been told has information on these, presumably because you had already spoken to them before going off on your mission.
Yeah.
Where would you like to go first?
Well, I think we'll get the least amount of information from the university itself, and we'll go there first.
Okay.
That seems counterproductive. Not counterproductive. That seems like it should be wrong, but you're probably right.
Yeah. Okay. When you go there, you meet up with, who do you meet up with? Let's have a look. Let's go into the.
We have so many NPCs. Do not need to make more.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'm just going to be able to pull up somebody who's in there. Yeah, you're famous enough, I think, that you would end up being approached by
The dwarf lady.
Galena Blackforge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This harsh-looking dwarven archmagister of the Imperial University here in Ostergold. I should say. I hear you brought back some interesting supplies.
Yes.
You want us
Can
to
they
look
make
any?
weapons out of dragon bow? By the way.
It's a good material. It's a material that's already been touched by magic. It makes it easier to enchant. We could make magic arrows, maybe javelins. I wouldn't want to try to make a sword out of it.
No.
Could you make a knife?
I dare say we could. It'd be like a big old bone shard, but I dare say we could do it.
And do you think
I
it
would
can be
rather
attached
use
to
the
its
claws
chain?
for that eclipse. They are better.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to attach it to that chain, no. No, that's one piece that's been enchanted as one piece. I tell you what, you would want to try to do, depending on what kind of dragon it was. You could try a bit of sympathetic magic. Do you know much about that?
I can make
You
an
should
educated
know
guess.
about them, I suppose. We did go after a void dragon.
Ah, I was told it was an exotic type.
Yes.
Void, no less. Okay. Well, I must admit, I don't know what kind of sympathetic magic you'd get out of a void dragon, but might be worth a try. Whatever it is, it'd be a lot faster than trying to force an enchantment onto it.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys know, the Arcanists amongst you know that sympathetic magic is you search the material for what it's best enchanted with, rather than just trying to enchant it with whatever you want to enchant it with. In the case of parts of dragons and things like that, they're inherently magic creatures. It should have some sort of effect. It might have a particular damage type that it's better at producing, or a magical effect that's maybe related to the type of effect that the dragon could produce.
Yes.
Anyway, we're going out on a mission again in as soon as things are ready. But we needed to double check with you guys if you have any extra information about the Rosali here in Vadencourt.
The Shattered Soul, also known as.
I'm aware of them, yeah.
Do you have any information about them specifically?
Yeah, that they've been obsessed with a single mission over the last few years, ever since ever since the Twilight March, actually. So the Twilight March is where the Warforged basically upped and fucked off, because at one point they were all here in Vardencourt, and this is within living memory. You guys were around, and for people who lived in Vardencourt at the time, like Cora would remember the day that all of the metal men basically fucked off out of the city and never came back.
Yep.
So, yeah, they've been obsessed with some sort of creature. They've been trying to defeat, cultivate, target, curse. I don't know, something like that. But then on top of that, the usual stuff. I mean, the guys that are nearest to us, people who are in Vardencourt, they kind of keep themselves to themselves. They're a bit odd for Rosali, actually. Yeah, just they keep themselves to themselves. Rosali and other nations, they pretend to keep themselves to themselves, but they're always kind of fishing around in the background trying to get hold of rare materials or rare tomes. Normally, nearby universities have to be very proactive, a little bit of espionage to stop them from coming in and nicking our shit. But no, these guys don't seem to be interested. I don't know if that means that I should be relieved or I should be worried that they're up to something bigger.
That is the big question, I suppose.
But yeah, they've got a small place nearby. Well, I say nearby. It's here in the Old Empire. Yeah, I think it's Romanicas lands that they got. It would be the fucking Romanicas. They'll sell to anybody. And yeah, they've got like a village that sorts them out for food and things, just in case they don't want to conjure it. You know, they have a town that they go down into, and I should imagine some of the students probably get a bit of unscholarly action down there. But other than that, yeah, they got some brokers and things that just get in materials that they need, but never anything that we've had to be worried about.
Interesting.
We monitor the amount of residuum that goes in there, obviously, but
of course,
it's not been any more than you'd expect from any wizard's tower.
Yeah, it's mostly we want to know what we're dealing with before we go in, but interesting.
The usual thing. Self-important arcanists trying to one-up each other.
Yeah, that's the usual memo for them. But I must admit, I've never heard about them not trying to get things from the land around them.
Yeah.
They could be outcasts. They could be lazy. I don't know.
Possibly.
People's people. You know, maybe it's a case of that they've got it so easy here that they feel free from the game that the Rosalis play with everybody else.
Yeah.
Or maybe they've been given a particular threat from the Empress.
Oh yes, that is a possibility.
Well, Cleosa doesn't make empty threats.
No.
That is. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, it could just have been that they were told categorically that they couldn't. But it seems so strange, though.
Look, either way, there's going to be one of two things. Either you've got to go to them with knowledge, or you've got to go to them with some form of magical barter, or you've got to go there basically challenging one of them.
Okay.
The Rosali, I don't know if you know, but they prove their status by picking the person above them and asking them to prove their superiority. That can be anything from a wizard battle to trying to get something first or try to solve something. It depends. More often than not, it's just them slinging magic at each other whilst, giving,
Yeah.
I'm sure, very educated, cutting remarks.
Mhm.
I've never been into that bullshit. I'm an educator. And you can see she kind of sits back in one of the chairs. Very typical kind of dwarven openness.
Yeah.
She crosses her legs and rearranges her robes and takes out not a dainty little cup like Renata drinks from, but a fucking mug. This is a mug full of blackstrap coffee. She's just there, just slugging it down.
Hell yeah.
So, what are you thinking? What have you got?
The issue is we suspect that their tower is on top of a ancient artifact trove, if nothing else. At least one artifact in there that we're going to need.
Well, I'd say don't tip your hand. Don't tell them that you know that. Unless the thing that you're asking for is the right to be able to study it, I recommend you hold that information back.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't planning on telling them.
Yeah. Ask them for the artifact by name. I would go for.
Yeah. Well, the name
They've
of the
even
artifact
figured
is...
out its name by now.
Well, we just called them canopic jars. Son,
Yeah.
is there a specific name for these canopic jars artifacts, or do we just call them canopic jars?
I just call them jars. I don't know what the word canopic means.
Yeah.
Preserved, or something similar. It's a way of ensuring that organs don't rot away.
Yeah.
Well, they still rot, but it's a preserving method.
Galena sits back and taps out the noddle of the pipe and starts filling it with fresh tobacco. And she goes, canopic means enclosed. It comes from the same word as canopy.
Yeah.
She's maybe may come from humble origins, but she's still a little bit of a pedant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was just me thinking that was the correct one, because that's the only way I've ever heard them referred to. But yeah.
Gorilla, we did have a very old viewer's guide at one point that I just ended up not keeping up to date. I will see if I can find
You can shout
There's
it,
a
Sam.
lot of things changed.
it. This is a homebrew world. Yeah. See what I can find for you.
You can harass Simon to write more of it, but
Feel free to join our Discord and you can harass Simon for it. He loves to talk.
yeah. He does.
Lies.
It
Lies.
was very old and outdated when it was made.
Let's see. Ooh, lots of obsolete map references here. Okay, yep. This is incredibly old, but I will share the
There you go. You're in you remember now, so you can post in general chat. Fixed.
Yeah, here we go. That's the very first with some broken links, but that's the very first thing that we gave out for the viewer's guide to understand what's going on.
Yeah, and then it hasn't been updated in about 100 episodes or so.
Mm-hmm.
Because Simon is a busy boy. It has a lot of things to do.
I'm a busy boy, and I need
And
to go
running
back.
more than one game.
Yep, I'm an idiot.
He has a lot of things to do.
Uh-huh.
But also, we're getting to the end of this campaign, so it's just like, meh, everybody knows.
And if they don't know, they'll figure it out along the way. There's a big
Go back and
we
watch the
gotta
other
stop a big
134
bad.
episodes. Yeah. Anyway, so she says, well, that's pretty much it. They're all just up their own ass scholars who don't want to play fair with the rest of us.
True.
I mean, as I say, they've got a reputation for being weirdos, the local ones. Unless you want to go further afield, and then they get like the kind of regular ones.
Yeah, no, it's the local ones we need to deal with.
Yeah. Well, in that case, yeah, as I say, they're oddballs. You probably need to go out and play a lot of it by ear. I'd say you probably need to have like a half decent magical artifact or a nice piece of information, maybe like a master grade spell, probably about 5th level or above, something they've never seen before, or get ready to challenge one of them. Otherwise, they're just going to kind of go, why the hell are you here, and kind of turn you away.
Can do that. Can do that.
Okay. Well, if there's anything you need from me, apart from the fact I'm not giving you any of our artifacts, then give
Of
me a
course
shout.
not. That I wasn't expecting that. It was mostly information about them because I know that local university usually keeps an eye out on the Rosali if they're in the area.
Yeah. I mean, we vet people pretty heavily before they come in. Of course, you came in with some recommendations, so we only had to vet you a little bit. Bit of scrying here and there.
Of course.
Anyway, as I say, you need anything from us, we all know what this is in aid of. And she gives you a knowing look.
Mm-hmm.
The Duke's been somewhat sharing of the information. We know what this is all going towards.
Yeah.
Oh, that is useful.
But this is not a time for us to be coy about what we're doing, is it?
Not
No.
really, no.
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 Time's of the essence. That stuff that you brought along, we're going to get it processed as quickly as possible. It could come tomorrow. It could come next week. Now, we've been told that Renata's got some way of scrying, a little bit of looking into the future, which is going to be useful for us. She's going to be our early warning system. But it means she's knackering herself out all the time looking into the future.
Yeah, we might need your help with getting everything processed. The entire team will need new armor made from the stuff, as I suspect it, according to my research, will at least confuse whatever we'll be up against.
Well, I hear they've been recruiting like a crack squad, the people who's going to be running towards the rift instead of away from it.
Exactly.
Those are the people who are going to be kitted out in that armor. I'm sure you guys will get the lion's share, I know, but the rest of them are going to be kitted out as well. Last thing we want is people who are going to be stepping forward, not being protected.
Yeah.
But then when demons and all the rest of it start popping up all over the city, I don't think there's going to be enough to go around. But at that point, hopefully we'll have our other protections in place.
Yes, and do feel free to use the bones and any claws that don't go into the weapon for the advanced squad to kit out whatever you can.
Fair enough. Eclipse, you're mentioning a bone knife. Do you want me to see what pops out?
Sure, please put a bow knife or just claw knife. Teeth. Whichever.
Well, you can use a sickle as well as a knife.
Yeah.
If I use a claw, it'd probably be a slash rather than a stab. Which one are you more fay with?
Do both, as long as I can do it with my finessely rather than using brute strength. Either works.
All of this stuff is about accuracy. Stab, slash. You hardly got a great sword.
Nope.
Fair enough. Okay, we'll have a look around, see what pops out.
Thank
Anyway,
you. All.
if that's all you got,
Yes, that was all we wanted to.
okay. Mostly a social visit then.
Yeah,
Well, if you don't
it's
mind.
good to show our faces around while we're in town.
Indeed. Anyway, if you don't mind, I've got 200 battle mages that I need to keep drilling.
Very well.
Pretty much everybody above apprentice level has now been committed to one cause until he pops up. We've all been committed. We've had to write a contract out to make sure that people who are staying, considering are not those who are staying, staying.
Yeah.
Some people have left already, but I've
course.
personally agreed to write off all of the fees that they have, all of their student debts, if they fight in the battle.
Oh, that's probably very good. You get a lot of people doing it then.
Well, thankfully,
That
it's not out
means
of
a
my pocket.
lot of the university is gonna stay.
It's not out of my pocket. The Duke has
True.
basically placed a wager with the Empress herself. He says that if this architect comes back and starts besetting demons in her into her empire, that she has to pay them. So he only has to pay if this architect friend of yours doesn't turn up. I have a feeling his money's quite safe.
Yeah. Unless we somehow prevent him from materializing, but
Which don't think we're gonna manage in this time frame.
In that case, you can have a very pissed off Duke. But if you can do that, I don't think he's going to complain too hard.
No.
Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you very much for the visit. As I say, I've got everybody year 3 and upwards learning new and conventional ways to damage people.
Have
Hey.
fun then.
You should see Cobblestone Slash. It's a pretty good spell. I don't like the name of it, but it seems to work pretty well. Basically, they just fire a spell into the ground, makes the cobblestones rise up into the area and split into 2 sharp stones, which then go flying forward. The only problem is that it tears up part of the street, and you do need to be actually standing in a town to be able to cast the damn thing.
Because you need cobblestones.
Well, yeah. So you have to be on some sort of flagstone or cobblestone floor. Pretty bloody dangerous, though. Only problem is you have to keep moving around because you have to use the cobblestones around you.
Of course.
Typically, if you're found yourself in a nice little defensive place, you don't really want to be running around, do you?
No, and you don't want to destroy said defensive structure.
Yeah. As I say, I need them to work on the name, and then maybe if they can just kind of conjure the cobblestones. But this is something that the lower years are starting to use. Instead of having to generate the matter themselves, they're just using what's around them. And once somebody tried to do animate lamppost, it was quite funny. Didn't work at all. All it was is the lamppost got all floppy and just flopped to the ground. It's like turned into like a paralyzed snake.
Oh no.
Hey, what can I say? They're trying at least, you know.
Oh yes. They're
Trying
figuring
is-
things
is-
out.
Trying is good.
I dare say that's going to be a prank spell for years to come. I have a feeling either myself or my successor is probably going to be grounding quite a few people by the fact that they've ended up doing that in the city. Anyway, as I say, time to drill the troops. See you later.
See you.
See.
And Galena drains the last of the blackstrap and stashes away the mug in her robe. And off you go.
Yeah.
So what would you like to do next?
Well, we can go to the Green Library.
Okay.
Or what do you think, Glory?
Well, if they're as unpredictable as the university claims, then it wouldn't hurt. I assume Renata's kept an eye on them.
Yeah. She has any information about what thing they're guarding and stuff like that.
Then again, she didn't mention anything when we said that was our next destination, so
Oh,
we'll
still
check the thing. If nothing else, I want a lay of the land. There was apparently a town around their tower.
Yeah. Let's go.
You get to the Green Mansion and you get let in. you know that there is a few little libraries, actually. There's Renata's small personal library that's in her study. And then downstairs, you've got a kind of just a larger library that's just, I guess, some of the rarer, but, not kind of like forbidden lore type things where it's just a boon of being part of the Green Organization.
Yeah.
And Glory, you remember if you were back a level like level 3 sorceress or level 3 wizard, you would be willing to do quite a lot to get in just to be able to use that library. That's the library where you get to learn, third circle, fourth circle, fifth circle spells. That's the kind of thing we're talking about. Certainly not forbidden tomes, not rare tomes, but tomes that you just don't find everywhere.
The
And you do
useful
see
stuff.
2 familiar figures sat there, poring over maps and things. Jacob Brookmarsh and Garrett Alderman.
Oh, hello.
The
Useful guys.
Yeah.
Perfect. Just the gentleman we needed to see.
Yep. Garrett is poring over a map and going, yeah. I don't think that's on. I don't think that's on on any form of cairn or subterranean level. If anything, I think this village and also the town that they were not the town, the tower. Sorry, the village and the tower. They were all on bedrock. I mean, if you're going to be building a tower, you need to have a decent foundation, and there's not a decent foundation for miles around. I think that they went to this because it's exposed bedrock, and they just built onto there. Garrett looks over his glasses and goes, "Oh, how you weren't even listening? No, I'm saying that that the theory that they have that this tower's directly on top of where avarice, sloth, greed was on.
Have you introduced them to Sun yet?
He was.
Yeah, I think I did. Didn't I?
Yeah, we did it as a background thing.
Yeah.
They have been introduced. Yeah. But no, I think that now see, if I was to say that there was some sort of subterranean, I would say it would be over here. You see, there's a dip in the land there, probably like a long since recovered oxbow lake. Now, if it was there, now what you'd end up having is that it would be looser ground, but you'd have to go in and kind of like bounce off the water table and then go into the. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Soon. At which point, Gary goes, "Oh, my dear boy, how are you? How are you settling in? I had more questions for you. Hang on, I've got them here somewhere." He's got sheafs and sheafs of paper. He goes, "Yeah, I was going to ask, have you seen this symbol? No, that's not it. This symbol on. Do you recall seeing it on any other buildings?" And he's just in an absolute mess.
You're right.
Just so many things to look into at the moment, and now you've thrown us this curveball. I believe it's called.
The curveball being sun?
Well, no, Sun is fascinating, and I can't wait for another one of our chats. You can see that Sun kind of deflates slightly, where he's like, "Really, it was so long last time." No, Ms. Green set us up with this lovely little nook, this book nook, to take a look at your next part of the path. Now, where we have all manner of archaeological and historical, data of long lost. Towns and cities and things like that have long since been reclaimed by the land. We have categorizations on earthworks for months of travel around. This is fairly new and active, and well, I thought up until now nothing related to the Great Jordan, and so I haven't really gathered any data on it. Thankfully, well, the Green Organization appears to be somewhat of an intelligence agency on top of everything else. And so we've been pouring through various kind of trader accounts and other things to see if we could get some idea. Now, the interesting thing is I don't believe that there's been any form of major excavation in the last 5 to 6 years. And an excavation of the size that we are suspecting, being that we suspect, and as you may have heard my dear colleague talk about, that the tower is not on top of wherever Greed decided to reside, at which point Sun goes, Ollivanders, please. Really? Oh, classical name. Greed's name was Ollivanders. I thought he was a tabaxi. Okay.
Apparently, some port something portmanteau.
Okay. All the same, a very interesting name. Very classical name. Ollivanders. It's yeah. Well, anyway. So yes. We believe that the tower and its location are not related, but that this is one of the few jars that actually got found and moved. Now, I have a theory. I have a theory that it was moved, but it was supposed to be moved. Now, my idea is that somehow Ollivanders, from what you have said, this Creed character somehow influenced the move, which means either, like our good friend Sun here, is still alive, or in his quasi-mortal state, as the others were, being that they were in various forms, undeath or possessing of a creature or whatever. Or book, yes, indeed, of course. Our friend in the book. Now, in whatever current sentient state Greed is in, he brokered his movement because he realized he was in the wrong place, you see. That's what I think. I think that he realized he wasn't on the path and he had to bump himself onto the path to be there for the chosen one, for you.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
It's a wild theory, probably needs adjusting. But I believe, based on what we've seen with the necklace that you have that brings you in line with destiny, and the fact that destiny has been part of this kind of filtering of everybody who would try to acquire the heart of Juradan, it was altered. Now, there is there's an alternative thing that we must consider. And I don't like to talk about it, but I feel that I owe you candor in this case.
What is this?
The alternative is that Greed, Ollivanders, deliberately moved himself for the person who would find him to be a different person. Think of it. Every other step in the road was where it was supposed to be, but not Greed. Greed was found by somebody else. Greed moved. By moving, does that mean that the chosen one finds it? Or does its change the chosen one? That's the problem with destiny. What's predestined? What's not? How can we tell the difference?
Well, if you want a theory craft, a sure Renata will help, but I don't think that's the time or place for that right at the moment.
No. I think the best thing to do is to go and get the jar regardless.
Yeah.
I think the semantics about this is going to be different.
Less important.
We shall see. Son, what do you know of this Ollivanders? son turns around and says, well, educated, brilliant, a little obsessive when he gets onto something that he wants to see to the end. And absorbed in his work, one-track minded, I guess. That's as I knew him anyway. I didn't know him in the old days. Apparently he was quite active during the conquest. I was a frontline soldier when the conquest first started. I was in the vanguard with Jordan. Well, in that case, I think if he is still alive, probably best for you and he to get reacquainted. This young boy is going to be the ace in the hole, I guarantee it. He's going to be the one who's going to be able to control greed if he has decided to tweak with destiny.
Yes.
Yes. It certainly will be.
Mindful of.
Oh, you've probably run off already, but thank you very much for the subscription, Gorilla. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I was too busy in the scene. Anyway, we've got more stuff. So intelligence reports. Where's that lovely lady? Where was she? And he goes off and comes back with a where is it? Master of Merchants. So I completely lost where I am. Comes back with Hobra Winterscribe.
Ah!
Oh, yeah.
I've apparently been seconded for the day.
Hello, Hobra.
Hey, take
Been
a
a
seat.
while.
It has. I kind of wondered what somebody like me could do for this city, but anyway, take a seat. So Hobra, if you remember, pale skin, brown hair, piercing blue eyes, tends to wear like an off-white ruffle trim to what is normally a variation on like a blue coat or dress. So blue coat and blue trousers or blue dress. And normally, I'd say the kind of ruffled fur, like a kind of scraggly fur trim, which means that her collar or her wrists tend to be quite puffed out. So, yes, I was asked to go through some intelligence reports, which was a little scary to find that organizations had this in the city, something that we'll have to revisit after the calamity. And yes, so we've got some eyewitness accounts. So the village is called Farreach. Not entirely sure why. The Farreach name is what we call it in the common tongue. Apparently it's a lot better sounding in Jasperan. And let's see. Okay, so typical wizard kind of cabal-y stuff. They have agents throughout the village. Responsible for bringing in materials and things like that. So the farmers don't bring them in themselves. They give it to the agents take it in. The agents are paid a lot for their loyalty and have to work along a set of guidance or procedures. The Rosali have made it so that they go into what effectively is a transfer room. They place the produce there, and then people who are inside and live inside the tower with them. And when I say tower, it's like a chateau, I guess. It's like a slightly skinny castle. They take it from there, and the people who live there never leave. The only people who are allowed to leave are the Rosali themselves, the actual wizards, and they come out into the village sometimes just to drink and cavort and, types of things adventurers do when they come home. And but normally they're expected to go back by a particular time. There was one thing that we found in some of the accounts. They found that in one of the local taverns, a wizard walked in from the Rosali, so from the Rosali castle. He was immediately accosted by a man in plain clothes who started speaking in a perfect Rosali accent and was identified as a former Rosali who presumably was defrocked, probably literally, being that he was in pauper's clothing. And he begged and begged to be let back in. He had signs of disease on him. He had black rings around his eyes. His eyes were bloodshot. He was pale. He had a cold sweat, and he was shaking as well, to the point where people didn't want to go near him unless they, catch whatever he had. And he was begging just to be let back in, not to be forgiven or anything like that, but specifically to be let back in. The wizard shook him off, kind of kicked him to the floor, and said, "No, you'll take your punishment and like it." A few days later, he was never seen again.
Of course.
Okay.
It seems strange that he wanted to get back in. You would have
Yeah.
thought that
Unless
if he had
thought that whatever was inside would cure him of disease.
potentially. It's about the only lead that we have.
Yeah.
Well, something's up with that tower. That much we can surmise.
Yes, definitely.
Other than that, the Rosali pay well. They pay their farmers well. Where they get the money from, no one knows. And yeah, that's it. They don't produce anything. They don't send anything out. There are no containers that send anything out. So it's not as if they distill residuum or they enchant things and send them back. They very, very rarely do any form of what would it be? Production.
Interesting.
Anyway, back over to your colleagues. And Garrett says, yes. I believe the best approach here would be the direct approach. These fellows may have had a bad rap, but I believe that going for the jugular is the best way to go about it. Jacob disagrees, but I believe that if you turn around and said that you're in the middle of a great works, tell them what you want, look them in the eye, and tell them what it's required to get it. I think that that would be the most efficient way by all.
Well, either that or they'll try and take it for themselves, at which point they'll likely die, depending on what Greed has set up.
Either way, we have had a look at the ley lines around that place. If there's one thing for sure, they are doing some form of magic. The ley lines bend towards them, something cruel. So, we can set up teleportation for you. What's the plan?
Well, I was trying to figure out, shall we try and get in through diplomatic means, or should I just go in and steal it?
Well, I believe Renata's allowed you to have an audience. It's what you're going to do in there that's the matter.
Yes.
As I said, I can probably lead them around the bend for a bit while you poke around if you wish.
If you decide to steal it, you need to be ready for a fight.
The old bait and
I mean-
switch. As long as you can nick it and get out in time, you can
Then-
fight your way out of there.
Yeah, if as long as I can steal it before they notice anywhere and get out.
Yeah, sure, but say you can't. Are you ready for a fight?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll keep our options open. We'll start going in as a diplomatic approach and see. First of all, locate the object and see if either we can get it through diplomatic means or if I should just nick it.
Well, either way, you're too close to back out now.
Well, I would say that this calls for one thing you might be able to ask Renata for.
Oh?
Yes, of course. If you're gonna try and steal it, you might as well ask if you can have one of those codes. And I just see Eclipse zooming out of the room.
I feel like she does that cat arch back kind of on edge thing, but in an excited kind of way.
Yeah.
Or that standing up cat thing where where they're about to fight, but she's just like, yes.
Zoom.
You go straight up, and just as you're about to barrel through the door opens of its own accord using Mage Hand, and you kind of look around, kind of gimlet-eyed, at which point Renata goes, "Time, Mage. I saw you coming."
Do you know what I'm gonna ask?
Yes.
Is that the answer?
No. Sit down.
Why?
She walks up to her to a wardrobe, opens it, and pulls out one of these beautiful dove gray cloaks. She attaches it around her shoulders, raises the hood over her head, and disappears. And then a few seconds later, brings the hood back down. These were worn by the Sisters of Sahani. Each one of them was attuned to a single soul. When they were slaughtered to a woman, I reclaimed each one of them. I ended up having to hire a great many people to be able to do so. Since then, they've been in my service. The only way to get one is dead woman's boots. When one of my grey cloaks dies, you'll be the first person to get one.
I am slightly less excited about it now.
But plotting murder all the same.
Also, once you're attuned to one of these, you stay attuned until you're dead.
I mean, I can live with that.
I'm sorry, I know that you've been looking at this for a long time. When this happens, hopefully from old age rather than something else, you will have more than earned it.
Do you have any particular ladies that are particularly old?
No one anywhere near my age, I'm afraid.
Well, yes, you ancient, older than some elves lady.
I love Scornfuse's line. Glory kills a dragon equals bad. Eclipse kills a person. Macloak.
I mean, we go back to what Hermit said earlier. Eclipse the Glory, upset about them killing an innocent dragon. Also Eclipse, committing crime by the dozen, a known and infamous menace to the city, happily take the reward for slaying said dragon. I deserve the skull. I did the most damage.
It's like, killing the dragon was a very bad thing to do. I get the skull.
I got the skull, yeah.
No pause.
No.
And because it was a bad thing to do, I'm going to hang it on my front door.
Yep.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to the Benefactor.
Ah,
All I have to do is point you towards the text post I put in general chat.
if it's any consolation, Eclipse, if I'm right, you'll be getting one soon.
Oh, right in a. I hope it's like old age peaceful, right?
I can't. I think we
Right.
both know I can't tell you that.
Right.
Well.
Oh, please let it be old age peaceful.
I believe you had all the preparation that you need. The teleportation circle is ready and charged. Go pick up your things. And
Did we get a long rest in that?
Yes, we would have.
yeah, you're going to have your long rest first.
Yeah, because we're picking up the
Yeah, because we were
The
waiting for them to
armor.
make the clothes.
the armor takes a bit to make.
And we're going to start with the long rest at the beginning of next session. Because the thing that the wild magic came up with, you have to be having your long rest for it to trigger.
Ah!
So potentially there could be 3 wild magic effects next session.
'Cause I still have that
Interesting.
weird rune.
The one that's on
I-
her forehead, and then
Yeah.
these 2.
I asked Renata briefly if she knows anything about the rune.
She goes up and starts to detect magic on it, and she goes, yes. I'm afraid because you're all very different magical casters, you end up having a lot of convalescence with the maelstrom, bending its energies in lots of different ways. In this case, this one seems to have coalesced onto you as a form of temporary spell scar.
Do you know what it does?
I can tell you its school is evocation. That's probably not good.
No, that mostly means like explosions and fireballs.
Also, in certain cases, thunder, ice, acid,
Thunder.
poison.
Yeah, it's like creating something for a damaged thing. That's normally what evocation does.
To evoke, you evoke the element. So I would say probably best to go somewhere safe and activate it. I can see that you can activate it yourself.
Yeah, I haven't done it because I was afraid that I might explode.
She calls Farewell. Farewell stands inside the door and goes, Farewell, if she explodes, help me pick up the pieces, will you? At which point she pulls out a wand and very kind of like duelist style casting says, don't resist. Otuka! And suddenly, whoomp, you are in a bubble of force. She turns to Farewell and says, well, we'll be safe.
Fine. I activate the thing.
And the sphere is suddenly filled with a huge torrent of flame.
You had a fireball on your
I had
head.
a fireball on me.
Good
You-
job, guys.
You get some damage, but Farewell manages to heal you up.
That will fix this.
There's a smell of singed cat hair that will remain in Renata's.
Do I get to do a dex save, Simon?
No,
Not in
you're
a
in a
bubble.
bubble.
There's a fireball on your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fireball centered on you in a bubble. Where are you gonna go?
Yeah.
I hide
I hide in the
In all
bubble.
fairness,
behind my eyes, behind my hands. Look, no one can see me because I can't see them.
in all fairness, if you'd managed to figure out what this does, you could have gone up to the Rosali and said, "I challenge you to a hug."
Yes.
Boom.
And we could have given you the ring beforehand.
Yeah.
Ring of fire
Yeah.
immunity.
Though
Actually-
I do have evasion, so as long as I make the save,
No,
I take
No,
care
not
of
when it's on you.
no, DM says no. You're in a bubble. There's no way you can
Provided
evade.
the rule says.
I don't care. The beard says back.
Simon wants his evil beard moment.
Yeah. You have to be able to evade, and you're in a bubble that's only just bigger than you.
Oh
so...
yeah, no, I'm not saying the bubble. I'm like, if it happened in the world.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. The reason why I was laughing when I was like, oh, and it goes because Scum specifically said on Corinne, I was there thinking, technically speaking, she can evade, but when it says it's centered on you, even if you evade, it's still centered on you. So I don't think you can evade something that by definition is coming out of your body.
Yeah.
Stroke your beard, stroke your beard, stroke
Stroke
your
your
beard.
beard says.
Anyway, so yeah. Physics that doesn't exist says.
Yes.
Anyway, we're going to leave it there for tonight. You are all set up. You're going to the village of Farridge, where there is a castle stroke wizard's tower kind of like thing that the Rosali live inside. You've been to a Rosali place before, or a similar type of setup before. You know that the Rosali like either people who are willing to trade knowledge, trade magical items, and by which I mean, not going up and just giving them some potions or something. It has to be a significant magical item, an artifact, or to test your prowess against them. Magical duel, yeah. Of which, because they are all wanted to prove that they are the better. You can
I
go
wouldn't be against a magical duel, but
No.
give me the Farewell's guidance thing, and I could probably melt them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, melt is a save for them.
The
Do you
other
think
option
they
is,
have good decks, Corinne?
Will Steve. The other option is you can go into the village and try to basically spy your way in, find more information by, probing around the village. But the village are loyal to them.
Mm-hmm.
So give it some thought for next week, because you're going off to challenge the Rosali.
Yes.
Big thank you to Felicia, Corinne, and Kate, who, despite being very tired like myself, have popped up to get into the next part of the game. We're going to be rejoined by Nick for next session, where we're going to be going in and doing a little bit of, well, whatever they decide. Could be magic battles, could be a bit of a heist. It could be whatever. There's a number of different ways they can go about this. Let's see which one they choose. Until then, we're not going to raid tonight. I'll just give a general shout out that I think that Kate, unless she passes out immediately after the stream, is going to be going back to be Ash. So
most probably, even though I'm like half asleep.
It may be that you do end up watching a stream of Kate sleeping at her desk, but all the same, rather than raid, just look out for the Kate Madison channel, and you can join her and her wild RP exploits. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. So we have got Mage the Ascension coming in, where we will have Dave and his team of fledgling mages going through a canonical story. We have already finished 24 Hours in New Angeles. If you haven't watched that, it was awesome. YouTube. It is on YouTube. And I think I need to put the last episode on, but now it's been 24 hours. I can do that now. And so, yeah, a cyberpunk murder mystery where the guys had to pretty much just follow the last 24 hours of a friend to see what killed her. And I will say they didn't 100% succeed.
No, we didn't, but we got pretty close.
You got pretty close. So if you want to watch those 4 episodes at any point, if you're bored, then come at me in the Discord. Don't spam me with your theories, but maybe give a theory. And if somebody gets a perfect 5, I will tell them. Other than that, we have got Versen coming up in a month or so's time. It's still in the middle of writing it at the moment, and this Thursday coming, I'm going to be sitting down with Felicia, and
Hi.
talking Swedish folklore. And we'll be getting into some of the more interesting parts of that. And we will have a lot more one-shots and sure-shots coming soon because I'm enjoying those a lot more at the moment. Until then, have a fantastic weekend. Don't be a stranger on the Discord, and we will see you soon. Good night.
Night.
Night.